Hi there and welcome to a new series here on the channel where for the next 4 weeks I'll be sharing vegan comfort food recipes perfect for autumn. So today I want to show you how to make a tomato risotto, which has probably become my new favorite dish. But before we get started, I would like to let you all know that for the month of October, we're running a sale on our e-cookbook called Comfort. And if you use the link in the description box, you will get 25% off the original price. We wanted to do this now as this is the season, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, where it can really shine and come to good use, offering lots of hearty, warming dishes for this cooler and darker time of the year. We hope that if you have the book already, that you are enjoying it, and if you don't, then this is a chance to get it for a little less than usual. Either way, we have lots of delicious comfort food recipes coming your way this month, and we're starting with this tomato risotto. It's a great dish for dinner parties and weekend meals, but I'd say it's actually easy enough for a weeknight meal too, when you want to spend some quality time in the kitchen and get that good cooking meditation going. I usually start this dish by prepping a topping for the risotto itself. So I have some fresh cherry tomatoes here that I'm going to roast, and my oven is already heating up at 225 degrees with fan assist on. And all I do now is just transfer these to a oven-safe dish, and I'm going to drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil and season them with salt and black pepper. Once I've seasoned the tomatoes, I shake the pan to coat them thoroughly, and then I roast them for 20 minutes in the preheated oven or until they have some good color on them. Now for the risotto itself, I'm going to use a can of whole peeled tomatoes, as they are supposed to be the best flavor out of all the canned tomatoes, or possibly this is a placebo thinking after hearing it so many times from other cooks. Either way, I'm going to transfer them into a bowl and then break them up using my hands as much as I can so that they are fully submerged into the liquid really. To add more flavor to the risotto beyond those yummy tomatoes, I'm going to make a sofrito as a base. And a sofrito typically consists of some aromatic ingredients that are cut into really small pieces and then sauteed to flavor different dishes in Mediterranean cooking. It also occurs in some other food cultures around the world and can also be called a few different names. For this risotto, I've got some shallot, carrot, and celery that I'm going to chop up really fine, but first I'm going to peel this carrot. And once I start chopping, I'm going to chop everything really finely because you want the vegetables to kind of melt into the risotto itself. So it kind of disappears into the rice, and it just adds a really lovely depth of flavor to the final dish. For this recipe that serves 4 people, I use 1 medium-sized carrot as well as 1 celery stalk and 1 shallot. So there really isn't that much vegetables in the base, but it's enough to give the final risotto some really good flavor. Actually got one more ingredient that will flavor this risotto and fry with the sofrito, and it's some fennel seeds. It creates this really nice accent flavor to the risotto that goes really well with the tomatoes, and I'm just going to crush it up a little bit in the pestle and mortar before I add it to the pot. Once all the prep is done, I heat a tablespoon of olive oil with 1 tablespoon of vegan butter over medium-low heat, and once it's warmed through and the butter is melted, I add the chopped up vegetables as well as the crushed fennel seeds. I also add a pinch of salt, which helps draw moisture out of the vegetables and really brings the flavors out, and then I saute for about 5 to 10 minutes. So when the sofrito is looking glossy and tender like this, it's time to add in the rice. And I have a risotto rice here. This is called carnaroli, but you could also use arborio rice. And to serve 4 people, I use about 1¼ cups worth. I'm just frying this over medium heat in the sofrito, and want to just stir it in until it looks really nice and glossy, and the rice should almost look translucent. This will take about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you're good to move on to the next step. Now that the rice is looking good, I'm going to start cooking it further by adding liquids, and I'm starting with some white wine. This is a dry white wine, which I believe is preferred in cooking risotto. It just adds a little pizzazz to the flavor depth of the dish. And if you buy a decent bottle, you can of course serve it alongside the food too. So I'm just cooking this until all the wine has been absorbed by the rice, and I keep stirring throughout. While the wine is absorbing into the rice, I'm preparing my stock by combining 4 cups of warm water with 2 vegetable stock cubes, and I just mix that up in a jug and leave it to the side ready to add to the risotto later on. And once the wine has absorbed into the rice, I add in my crushed tomatoes and mix that through the rice as well and allow it to cook and absorb. So again, I just want these tomatoes to cook off a bit and for the juice to absorb into the rice. This will obviously not go as dry as the wine did though before we add the next bit of liquid, as it has a more solid nature. When the rice is looking mostly dry, I start adding in my stock 2 ladlefuls at a time and then stirring it through until it cooks into the rice. And it's important to keep stirring to make sure that the rice is releasing its starch, which makes the risotto creamy. So this process of adding stock and stirring should take somewhere between 16 and 18 minutes, and that should lead you to have a nice al dente finish on the rice. So when you're getting to 16 minutes or so, you find you've used up most of the stock, then taste the rice and see where you're at. It should be al dente then, meaning that it should still have a bite to it, but not be hard at all, of course. Go along with the tomatoes as a topping, I like to grate some vegan Parmesan style cheese, and I won't use this in the risotto, but I think it's really nice on top, but it's optional. I also have a recipe for a Brazil nut style Parmesan crumble that you could make and top it with, so I'll link that down below if you prefer that. So my rice is good now, and I've taken it off the heat, and I'm going to add some nutritional yeast, which will give the risotto a flavor boost in a similar way grated Parmesan would in a traditional risotto. For this amount of rice, I use 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, and you can find this in the health food store or sometimes even in the supermarket. If you find the risotto seems a little too thick when you've stirred the nooch in, you can add a little bit more stock and then stir that through to just loosen it up. You don't want the risotto to be too thick. You want this kind of loose and luscious and juicy and delicious texture. This is my tomato risotto. I really hope you will try it and treat someone special to some too. It's such a lovely, flavorful and warming dish. I think people would really appreciate having someone else cook for them. Also, if you want something to go with this that adds a nice contrast, I just posted a white bean salad with fennel, parsley and red onion on my website that would be great as a side dish. I'll link that down below if you're interested. Now I'm going to enjoy this risotto, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the next episode of this comfort food series. Also, don't forget to check out our ebook, which is also linked in the description. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.